Have you ever felt a car slow down beside you, even though you never heard it coming? What if I told you that for decades, people across Europe vanished after being seen near the same vehicle, always the same color, always the same silence, and always the same outcome? What if the car was real? The disappearances were real, but no one could ever prove who was behind the wheel? Tonight, you're about to step into one of the darkest and most disturbing urban legends ever whispered behind closed doors. This is the story of the Black Volga. It always begins quietly. No screaming engines, no flashing headlights, no warning at all. Just a black car parked where it shouldn't be. In the 1960s and 70s, across Eastern Europe, especially in Poland, the Soviet Union, and surrounding regions, people began noticing something strange. Children didn't come home from school. Young women disappeared after work. Priests, journalists, and political dissidents vanished without a trace. And almost every time there was a witness who mentioned the same detail: a Black Volga sedan. At first, no one connected the dots. Cars disappear into traffic every day. But then the stories started lining up too perfectly. The same car, the same color, the same fear. The Black Volga wasn't just transportation. It was a warning. To understand why this legend terrified millions, you need to understand what the Volga was. In the Soviet era, the Volga wasn't an ordinary car. It wasn't something a factory worker could afford. These vehicles were reserved for government officials, secret police, high-ranking party members, and people who worked for the state. If you saw a Volga, especially a black one, it meant power had arrived. And power, in those days, meant danger. People were already living in fear of surveillance, fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of disappearing overnight. The Black Volga legend didn't create that fear. It fed on it. The earliest reports came from Poland. Children began telling their parents about a strange car that waited near schools. According to them, a well-dressed man would step out, sometimes wearing a hat, sometimes sunglasses. He'd call a child by name, claiming to be a friend of the family. And then the child would walk toward the car. The doors would close. The engine would start, and the Volga would vanish. Some versions of the story said the car had white curtains in the windows. Others claimed the license plate was always different or completely missing. What made it worse was that police investigations went nowhere. No witnesses could ever remember the driver's face clearly. No security reports confirmed the car's existence. It was as if the Black Volga erased itself from reality. Soon, the legend evolved. In some towns, people whispered that the car was driven by vampires. In others, it was Satanists. Some believed the passengers were priests or nuns abducting children for blood rituals. But the most chilling theory: the Black Volga belonged to the government. According to this version, the secret police used the car to kidnap people quietly. No arrests, no paperwork, just removal. If someone spoke out against the regime, spread forbidden ideas, or knew too much, the Black Volga would appear, and that person would never be seen again. In countries where people already knew the government was capable of such things, this explanation didn't sound like fiction. It sounded like truth. By the late 1960s, sightings exploded. Reports came in from the Soviet Union, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and even as far as Germany. Every region added its own twist, but the core remained the same: a Black Volga. Silent, watching, waiting. Parents warned their children never to approach unfamiliar cars. teachers locked school gates. Churches spread rumors during confession. Fear became part of daily life. And then something unsettling happened. Adults started disappearing too. In Warsaw, a journalist investigating corruption vanished after leaving his office late at night. A witness claimed to have seen him arguing with someone beside a black car. In Moscow, a factory supervisor who had criticized working conditions failed to return home. Neighbors said a Volga had been parked outside his apartment that evening. No bodies were found. No official explanations were given, just silence. And silence in authoritarian states often speaks the loudest. As the legend grew, so did the details. Some claimed the Black Volga could hypnotize people. Others said once you looked directly into its headlights, you couldn't move. There were even reports that the car wasn't fully solid appearing and disappearing like a ghost. But here's the disturbing part. Not everything was imaginary. There were confirmed cases of unmarked government vehicles used for covert operations. There were confirmed disappearances. There were confirmed cover-ups. The line between urban legend and state terror blurred, and people didn't know which side scared them more. In the 1970s, a new version of the story surfaced, one that pushed the fear even further. This time, the Black Volga wasn't just kidnapping people. It was harvesting them. According to rumors, the blood of abducted children was being used to keep powerful elites alive. Some said it was for secret medical experiments. Others believed it was for occult rituals performed by high-ranking officials. As unbelievable as it sounds, the rumor spread rapidly. Why? Because no one could prove it was false. In a world without transparency, imagination fills the gaps left by silence. Eventually, authorities tried to shut the story down. State media dismissed the Black Volga as superstition. Newspapers mocked the idea. Officials claimed it was mass hysteria. But that only made things worse. If it wasn't real, why were people still disappearing? Why did witnesses keep seeing the same car? Why did the government care enough to deny it so aggressively? Then something unexpected happened. The Soviet Union collapsed. Borders opened. Archives were unsealed. Secrets spilled out. And while there was no official document labeled Black Volga Operations, historians uncovered something chilling. Unmarked cars were routinely used for illegal detentions. Records of arrests were destroyed. People were taken without warrants and never officially registered as prisoners. The method existed. Only the name was missing. So was the Black Volga a monster? Or was it something far worse? A symbol of a system so powerful it didn't need to announce itself. A system where people vanished quietly, efficiently, and without consequence. Over time, the legend faded, but not completely. Even today, in parts of Eastern Europe, older generations lower their voices when the story comes up. Some refuse to talk about it at all, because legends don't survive that long without feeding on something real. And here's the question that still has no answer. How many people were taken by a myth? And how many were taken by men who let the myth take the blame? Because sometimes the scariest stories aren't about ghosts or demons. They're about what humans do when no one is allowed to watch. So next time you see a black car parked where it doesn't belong, next time you feel eyes on you without knowing why, ask yourself, is it just an urban legend? Or is it a reminder that some horrors don't need to hide in the dark? They hide in plain sight. If this story made you think, if it made you uneasy, hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who love real dark mysteries. Subscribe for more true stories where horror and reality collide. And comment below, do you think the Black Volga was just fear and imagination, or a secret the world was never meant to uncover? I'll see you in the next one.